everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And guess what? Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yes, and it also is the birthday of my beautiful, incredible father, who I believe is turning 82 years old today. Can you believe it? I'm so blessed to have him in my life and to have him here still. And so, happy birthday, Dad. I love you, Daddy. All right. Can you believe it's the middle of March already? No, me either. This year feels like it is moving at an accelerated pace. And I, for one, want to make sure that I am present for each moment, that I just soak in all this goodness that I'm creating over here on my end. What about you guys? How's the year feeling for you guys already? Crazy? Bizarre? Unbelievable? Wonderful? Whatever it is, I hope that you can make good moments out of each day. And again, I'm just so grateful that you guys are here. And today we are going to go over our book club selection. Stories of the Soul is our book club here at Future Focus Coaching and Wellness. And March, my theme for March for all of us is about renewal and energy rejuvenation. And just in case you may not know what that means, look, you know by now with me, I love healing and growing with the seasons. And so as we are moving into spring, I want us to really harness that beautiful resetting energy that spring brings us every year. And so with that, that's the theme of renewing our energy from our winter slumber, being in full-on rest mode, and to really figure out and let go of things we don't need, things that we need to maybe tweak and adjust and work on. And so we can really step into this and live the life that is really beneficial for us. And I don't want to say it to the point where it's like, so cliche or whatnot. But honestly, with everything in me, I really am here on YouTube pushing myself because this is such a strange format for me. It's weird for me to talk into a computer screen, but I'm going to do this just like I do when I talk in front of many people and try this. So thank you for being here and working with me as I develop a new skill and just to push past what I perceive as a limitation and try to develop a new skill and be proud of myself along the way. So make sure you put any comments and feel free to ask questions. I want this to be a free flow dialogue. And for those of you that are so graciously going to watch this on the replay, feel free to put your questions and comments in the boxes below, and I will make sure to circle back around and answer them to the best of my ability. Now, so for all of you that are on my newsletter list, you know that the Stories of the Soul book is announced at the first of the month. And so for March, well, since our theme is about renewal and energy rejuvenation, I thought The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer was going to be a best fit for us and our objective. Now, this book is only 200 pages, and there are about 19 chapters. But instead of going chapter by chapter, I want to make sure that I give you the overall themes. So for those who are not on my newsletter and did not know about the book, you have the opportunity to go read the book if you choose, and hopefully it will really be a blessing to you. So let's get started in that. Now, I have grouped these chapters, these 19 chapters, according to major themes, and you guys can go back and read the book and flesh it out for yourself. But I just want to give us a good overview on why I felt like this is a good book for us as empaths and highly sensitive people to read. And the reason why I say that is because I'm actually both. I am an empathic person and I'm highly sensitive. So I really have to be aware of the energy that comes to me or at me, or even my energy, right? Because many of us struggle with absorbing the energy that's circulating around the room. And if we're not careful on how to handle that, it can really have detrimental effects on stress and the physical consequences that comes with that if it's unmanaged properly. So really the biggest thing that I saw in this book and I'm taking away from it is that it's really helping us to see or to understand, be aware of the chatter in the back of our minds, the subconscious chatter, and to really figure out what is that chatter telling us. Because these negative thought patterns that we have struggled with or dealt with, they are really wreaking havoc on our emotional and mental well-being. So the best thing to do is to become aware, to really listen and hear what that internal chatter is really telling you. You don't want to judge it, you don't want to limit it because you want to be able to hear it and to gain a deeper awareness and understanding in how you are presenting information about yourself to yourself. All right? So this book really helps us to see that, and it also gives us the foundation to release these emotional blockages that really are presenting themselves in different ways that may not be really helpful. And ultimately, the goal is to achieve inner peace. Um, Not in the future, not so much dealing with past stuff, but strictly in this moment. No matter what's circulating around in the world, can you maintain a level of peace within your own heart? So again, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer is the book that I'm discussing today, that we're going to be talking about today. And I hope that it inspires you to really want to dig deep, to be aware of the negative or the excuse me, the thoughts that are circulating around inside your consciousness and how to work with them to ultimately achieve inner peace. So let's get started. All right. Okay, before we dive in, let me ask you guys this. Do you struggle with not so much having inner peace, but do you find that peaceful moments or a peaceful way of being are fleeting or transient? Meaning like I feel like for the majority of my day, I am at peace. I am content in my life. Do you guys have that feeling? Even with the craziness going on in the world, I feel at peace. I have inner peace. Or do you feel like the peace that you are able to have is conditional? Like you have to have this certain set of circumstances or situations for it all to line up for you to feel this peace. I would be interested to know. So put that in the comments if you are willing to share. So we're going to start with the first overall theme, and it's going to cover the first 4 chapters. And that core theme that I found in The Untethered Soul is understanding the inner voice. And this is going to cover chapters 1 through 4. So, like I said just a moment ago, you really want to recognize and become aware of what the inner chatter is. These thoughts that are going on in the back of your mind. What are they saying to you? What information is it presenting to you? Now, I'm just going to be honest and vulnerable because that's just me, and it's easier to use me as an example instead of making up stories and using other people's, information. So I know back when I struggled with all this, I can remember sitting down and just when I would get to a place of stillness, that's when I would hear the internal chatter more. And it was always saying things like, you're not good enough and you really need to change this. Or if something bad happened, it was my fault. And I would spend hours and hours and hours replaying things to try to figure out where I went wrong and how I caused, this disagreement or bad thing. And so I had to realize that it isn't always me, that this is the message that I'm telling myself over and over. And I have to make sure I can separate between what's fact and what's just a feeling that's making me feel this way. And then um, Mr. Singer, the author of the book, talked about this dialogue that you have with your mind as a roommate. So, giving it a seat at the table, like I share with my clients. If you have this thought over and over, or if it's present, don't deny it. Don't try to discount it. Give it a seat at the table, so to speak, so you guys can talk and you can work through this and you can flesh out what is coming to give you information that'll help you and what's simply information that it's sharing with you that's just nonsensical, it's not productive, and it's something that you need to really release as soon as possible. So, making sure you give those thoughts, that energy, a seat at the table, and really ask it questions like, you know, what are you coming here to teach me? What is it that you're trying to share with me that's a benefit to me? And if this is not beneficial for me and my highest good, then I release you. Just, go on about your way. So then that way you begin to discover your true self beyond those thoughts and those emotions. Feelings are transient. They don't really stay. They come and they go, right? And sometimes they come to help us, to get us to move to either safety or, a place that we need to go to really acknowledge some things so we can move past. Other times they're just reflections of um, a misaligned thought or something. My point is, they're not always true. They're just feelings, and they need to be recognized and acknowledged, but you don't have to hold on to them. Hey, good morning, Fatima. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here, friend. I really appreciate all your support. And I hope everything is beautiful up there in beautiful Canada, and sending much love to you and all of the Canadians there with you. Thank you for being here, friend. So we want to make sure that that voice that's lingering in the back of our minds, it's not steering us to destruction, or it's not steering us to, really turning that critical eye inward and ripping ourselves apart. So, in all this, you want to make sure that as you're becoming more self-aware, that awareness is bringing clarity. You want clarity because you want to make sure that whatever you're feeling, is this for real? Or is this just trying to trip me up and keeping me from doing the things that I know I can do, that I'm capable of doing? Now, this is a good a good frame of the first four chapters, because it's really helping us, meaning empaths and highly sensitive people, to stop the overthinking. How many of you are bad at overthinking things? You could take something so simple and analyze it and dissect it, and it's just like, by the time you're done doing all that, you're no closer to an answer and you're mentally spent, right? So if you're like me, do you overthink? Is that something that you struggle with? I'm just going to be honest. I don't do it nearly as bad as I used to, but those are things that I'm still working with and trying to let go of 100%. You can get lost in emotional overwhelm doing that. And it helps if you are able to learn the skill of observing as opposed to absorbing. When you can identify those thoughts, when you can place them as they're not needed or they're not necessary, you are better able to help get rid of them or to move away from them, so that they don't keep you like with wheels spinning over and over and over and feeling stuck and can't move forward. So the first four chapters really are helping us to become aware and to observe those thoughts that are lurking and lingering in the back of our minds. All right, so the next couple chapters, Michael Singer talks about the energy and how to let them go, how to really heal from this, and to say, you know what, okay, I finally get it. I understand now. and I'm ready and I'm capable of letting this go. I don't need to hold on to this anymore. So the first, chapters 5 through 9, he really talks about emotional blocks, past wounds, and how they are actively holding you back. And he even gives you a blueprint on how to release them and to allow your energy to flow freely. And that's one of the reasons why I picked this book for us this month, is because we're all about that season of spring and how the energy is resetting, it's renewing. And I want us to be able to follow the guidance and the wisdom of nature and do the same thing for us. Now, in chapter 5, he talks about how emotional resistance is really draining us and how past pains create emotional blockages. And then further into the chapters, I think chapter 7, he's talking about choosing openness over emotional shutdown. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this used to be such a big hurdle for me because I was quick to shut down emotionally and just go, I'm not dealing with that. I don't want to handle that. So it took a lot and it took a long time for me to begin to see how behaviors like this was really a huge disservice to who I was trying to be, wanting to be the loving and giving person. But the first sign of danger, I would retreat and shut down emotionally. And it really prevented me from expressing myself and learning how to be around safe people. That when I am in my giving mode, when I am in my empathic mode, those individuals didn't take from me to the degree where I felt like I was being used or misused, that they could see that I am presenting a beautiful offering from my heart, and they were able to accept it. And how can I put it? They were able to accept it and not I guess just to be appropriate with it. We have, as empaths, we have to make sure that when we're giving, first, we're giving out of our overflow. That we've been diligent enough to take care of our own needs and our own wants and desires. And so we're already full. And from that, the extra that we have from that, that's where the giving needs to come from. So when we are better able to pick people that are respectful towards us, that are protective and loyal and loving, that give to us to the degree that we give to them, that's a beautiful mutual exchange. And that's where I want us all to get. And it took me a long time to get to that point. And I realized as I was coming out of that I wasn't doing it for myself. And because I wasn't being diligent enough to take care of myself, to be the first person to be aware, to acknowledge, to accept, and to meet the needs that I have, I was looking for other people to do that. And because I was looking for other people to do that, I was placing my personal power in the hands of other people. And then guess what? Sometimes I'll be so pissed and mad when they misuse that power that I gave over to them. I'm like, what are you thinking? Why would you think I want that? You think I want to walk away from this feeling hurt? But I had to own my responsibility in that. So making sure that every day, especially as empaths and highly sensitive people, we have got to be diligent and committed to making sure we're taking care of ourselves. I am my top priority because I'm such a giver and I have such a beautiful heart that I have to make sure that I take care of myself. So when I'm working and giving and when I'm sharing, I'm not doing it because I want somebody to acknowledge me or to give something back to me. I don't have to have that anymore because I do it for myself. And when that happened for me, I started gravitating around a lot better people that didn't try to take from me or hurt me in any way. And I didn't feel like I needed to give away my power because I was able to do that for myself, which empowered me to want to do more for myself. And I show up so much better for my family, for my clients, and for everyone else. So think about that, guys. And then you learn what your emotional triggers are and how to best meet them when you sit and spend time with yourself. And as my beautiful brother always says, Mario tells me all the time when we talk, you can't heal till you get real. I love that so much. And there's such profound wisdom in that. And that's why I say, can you sit with yourself? And can you ask yourself these honest questions? And sometimes, let's be honest, they're really tough. And can you hear the answer without judging it, without limiting it? Can you sit with the answer? And once you get the clarity and awareness of what's going on, what will you be willing to do about it? Are you willing to say, okay, that's me, I did that, or that happened. Now, how do I move forward in that? Because it's not about bringing shame or guilt. It's about saying, I am this big heart beauty. I have this amazing heart, and I love giving, and that is not going to change about me. But I want to be smarter. And as a highly sensitive person, when I step into a room, I don't want to absorb the weight of the room energetically. I want to be able to walk in that room and to feel free and to not be bombarded by this person's energy and so on and so forth. But that works when you begin to figure out how all this big, crazy, energetic world works and how it specifically trickles down to how it's acting in your life. So you want to make sure, again, that you are an observer instead of always being in the situation of absorbing. Because as highly sensitive people, oh my goodness, when you walk into a room, you are in my guided journal, Sanctuary for Sensitivity. I talk about us being like a Wi-Fi receptor, and we are open and like this big antenna for all the energy around us. But it, as much as Wi-Fi is wonderful and is capable of bringing in information and processing things so much, so quickly, there are rules to this, and you got to make sure that the signal is clear. And so our energetic signals, we want to make sure that it stays as clear as possible so that we can function at the optimum levels that we are designed to. So making sure that you give your emotional pain a voice. Again, giving it a seat at the table so that it can share and reveal and give you the information you need that'll help you to really unlock and unblock all of the pain that you are experiencing, the negative thoughts or feelings that are coming, and that way you can sort them out, address what needs to be addressed, and then let go what needs to be let go. All right, so the next four chapters, chapters 10 through 14, the key thing for this is moving into true freedom and how to master the art of surrender. And freedom comes from letting go of control and allowing life to flow. Now, this is a beautiful spot to be in because when you can wake up each day and say, I'm going to live in flow. This is a positive psychology tool that I learned many years ago when I was training in my positive psychology coaching program. And it's something that my wife and I practice often, and that is being in flow. And that just means, okay, the structure of my day is set, and I move in that structure. But everything else, I say I'm not going to push anything. I'm not going to try to make this particular thing happen. I'm going to wake up and see what the universe has in store for me. I want to see what God has in store for me. So I just let things be. Now, for an example, my wife and I will say something like, okay, I think I want this, but I really don't have to have it, but we'll see. So we'll say something like, we'll see what the universe has in store. If it's meant for us, we'll have it. If it's not, oh well. So just being in that place of contentment and allowing nature, allowing things to flow freely, being in flow, seeing how things naturally move to you or through you or away from you. Can you sit in that and be content? So that's what these chapters are really calling us to see. Now, releasing control. Okay. Put it in the comments. Have any of you ever struggled with control? Okay. I'll be honest and say yes. I have struggled with control. But you know what? The more responsibility I took to myself and over myself, the less I needed to feel like I had to control the situation, because I am in control of me, and I'm not going to let anything negative happen to me on purpose, because now I'm more intentional. Instead of, I used to go under the false assumption that the nicer I am, the more people will like me and the better they'll look out for me because I'm a nice, good-hearted person. And I had to get stung by the bee of reality a couple times to realize that's not always the case. And I'm okay with that, because now I feel more empowered, and I am okay and I'm happy with making sure that I have all of my needs met. Right? So I don't have to control this person, this circumstance in order to make that happen. I do it for myself. I don't look outside myself anymore. So, when you are, okay, so for example, like when I get a new client and we're talking about the goals that they have for themselves, I always make sure to let them know, and actually, I give them the spring cleaning analogy, and that is sometimes growth is uncomfortable. And can you, before you start this epic journey of yours, be okay with the discomfort that is sure to come? And the reason why I present it that way is because I don't want anybody to have a false sense of hope that as they're doing these incredible things, it's only going to be good stuff coming their way. Because you're going to have to learn a new way of being, a new way of doing things, and a new way of receiving. Because you are doing the work, you are clearing the way, and you are putting in the inspired action and effort, that you're going to have moments where it's going to feel uncomfortable, right? Have you ever started something new for the first time, did something for the first time, and you like fumble your way through it? Well, sometimes it happens when it comes to the coaching relationship, because that inner peace thing, you're going to have to walk through some dark spaces in order to get to that sometimes. But it's so worth it when you get to the other side. So making sure that you are honest and aware that you may experience some emotional discomforts as you're going to what it is you're really wanting. Breaking through those emotional barriers that are sure to come. Because something that I have recently rediscovered in my personal journey is that when that ego feels threatened, that ego is going to do any and everything to maintain its position in your life. So imagine yourself, you say, I want to be more confident. Oh, you do, huh? Well, as your ego saying, it's like, we don't need more confidence. I like it the way it is. So don't be surprised if it fights you every step of the way. Because your ego, it knows its days are numbered, right? It knows that, oh, she's serious. She means this. Like, she's making notes, she's journaling, she's coaching, she's doing everything she can to actualize this person that she's dreamed of being. So we gotta ramp it up over here. So don't be discouraged, don't be surprised that when you start moving toward the person that you are really hopeful of being and wanting to be, you're going to get some opposition, right? So here's a funny story. So during this Lenten season, my wife and we're doing like a 40-day. It's not a fast, but we're incredibly mindful of what we're eating, right? So no sugar, things like that. Well, wouldn't you know, one of my brothers sends me a package in the mail, and he sent a package of his favorite cornbread mix. And I thought, when I opened the package, because I didn't know I was getting it, and I just laughed out loud because I thought, of course, of all the times that he wants to share this, it's because we're doing this Lenten cleanse, right? So those are the things I'm talking about. Don't be surprised when that type of resistance comes in. Even when you're in the flow, you never know what you're going to get, right? But when I got that package, immediately I was smiling and I said, oh, not today. We're not going to deal with that. We're going to keep on moving. But I love the heart of my brother, and I was so grateful. And I said, when Easter dinner happens, guess what I'm putting on the menu? So making sure you stay open to that. Because life is going to throw you some curveballs, my friend. Okay, and then, oh yes, recognizing how impermanence makes life more meaningful. Now, now this is a more difficult one for most people. So, when I had my time with my Buddhist friends, this is a lesson that I really learned through them in a very beautiful way. As much as we do not like change, change is inevitable. So, learning how to not be attached to things as deeply, no matter what it is, life, you, others, situations, circumstances, it's all going to change. And when that change happens, how do you handle that? Can you allow life and can you allow people and things to flow in and out? To give thanks for the time and the season you had with that person or with that thing, and then give honor and gratitude for it when it leaves or it's no longer in your life. The art of accepting impermanence. You don't want to get caught up in stress, get caught up in worry, or overanalyze the future. Can you live in the present moment, and can you choose joy no matter what? This is a beautiful stage for us to be in because we tend to be more, well, honestly, it goes back to that control thing. If I have, let's just say my favorite crystal in the world is my amethyst, right? I love it. Now, if for some reason my amethyst were not to be in my life anymore, how would I handle that? Can I be okay with the years that we've had together and give honor and thanks for that? Or will it completely destroy me emotionally? And I'm like, I gotta have another one. I gotta have another one. Now, that's not to say you don't mourn or you don't grieve the loss, but it doesn't paralyze you emotionally. And you can get to a point where you give thanks for the time you had together. So now, please, please, please hear me. I'm not talking about if you lose a loved one through death or divorce or anything like that. There is a natural grieving process. What I'm talking about are things or situations that, okay, I had this. Okay. No, I'm not going to go there. So think about how when things flow in and out, how do you receive them? How do you deal and adjust with them? All right. So the last takeaway or core message of the Untethered Soul is how are we expanding our consciousness and the universal connection that we have? Because I hope that more than anything, we know that we are a part of something bigger and grander than what we could ever possibly imagine. So, and Michael Singer talks about balancing, the balance is key, and lasting peace, and seeing life through the lens of love and not fear. Now, how many of you, when you make decisions from a place of love? Or do you see yourself making decisions from a place of fear? Now, for me, until recently, I can see how I was making decisions from a place of fear. And it was getting me in situations that I didn't, how can I put it? I was willing to dance with the devil because I thought it was solving a problem. But I had to be honest with myself and realize that the only reason why I was willing to dance with the devil was because I was in fear. That was my only way. When everything in me told me this really isn't such a good idea, but it solved an immediate problem, I knew that I was taking a risk. And let me tell you, it didn't work out. Not because it was a punishment, but because my internal guidance told me, yeah, it solves a problem, but it's going to create 10 more on the back end. And I remember telling myself, it's okay because I'm so stressed right now and this, that, and the other. I just need something, just to be sorted and taken care of in my life. And sure enough, the other 10 problems came. And so it just created more stress. So I've learned to be more intentional about the decisions I make, the situations those decisions put me in, but more importantly, to listen and honor my inner guidance. It's like when God is speaking to us and we don't listen, but we get frustrated because we're like, well, why didn't you help me? And look, well, if you don't listen. And that's what that internal guidance is for. And that's what I always help my clients to see and to nurture. If anybody out there that you are taking advice from or what have you, if they're not showing you how to rely on your own inner guidance that's God within you, please don't listen to too much. Nobody else should be telling you how to live your life. Nobody else should be showing you how to listen. I mean, not so much how to listen to yourself, but teaching you how to do. You should be honoring God in you. It will never steer you wrong. Whereas another human being, they're not going to get it 100% right. And who knows where their information is steering you. So always make sure all roads lead back to your internal guidance. Now, if you're like me, as an empath and highly sensitive person, I love the feeling and the comfort I get in knowing that I'm a part of something much bigger, a more beautiful, benevolent, loving, creative force, and playing my position, knowing my role in that. I love that. And to be able to do it and allow God to lead me and to share with me and to share back with you, it's the most ultimate feeling. Now, for those of you that are not sure, this is where sitting down and just being still and listening. Because I guarantee you that if you are truly still and you're not overwhelmed with the thoughts and opinions of so many other people, the messages are going to come to you. My prayer for you, my hope for you is that you will be able to listen without judgment, listen without limiting it. But as you're giving yourself a seat at the table emotionally and mentally, that you can listen and hear, you can soak in what's being shared with you, and you can really ask, what is of this that's for me to keep and work on? Or what is of this that I just need to simply throw out and disentangle myself from? So the big takeaways from The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer: observe your thoughts. instead of identifying with them. Let go of emotional pain to free your energy. Surrender to life's flow instead of resisting it. Choose happiness in every moment, no matter what. And recognize that you are connected to something greater. Remember, you are amazeballs. I hope you do know that. We all have that internal chatter. We all have the emotions that come with that. And it's going to be one of those things where I hope you give it a seat at the table. That you allow yourself to express itself without judgment or limitation. And that you work through it. Sometimes the negative chatter that's going on in our conscious and subconscious minds, sometimes they're beneficial and they're there to help us. And then other times it's just blowing off steam, and it's just a way of saying, okay, I'm tired, I'm angry, I'm upset, I feel scared, I'm lonely, and here are some thoughts that match those feelings. But those feelings are fleeting and they can move on to something else. You know, for example, if you truly identify as somebody empathic, you can watch something on television. You can connect to the energy of that show being presented, and you can take it on as your own. And next thing you know, you're having these thoughts that match that. But it's not a true representation of who you are or what's really real in your life in that moment. And when you can learn how to observe and not absorb, life is going to get a lot more freeing. The feeling of inner peace will last longer and come more often. And when you can really develop that and hone those skills, you'll find that inner peace stays with you for a lot longer. So I do want to share with you guys, you want to make sure that especially if you are highly sensitive, that you're providing yourself a sanctuary. And you are allowing yourself to really process what's going on with you. And this guided journal, 30-day journal for transforming sensitivity to strength, this is from my struggles, for that Wi-Fi signal that I'm reaching and receiving my signal without any hindrances, so that I can function the way I was designed to. So if you struggle with that, if you are picking up the weight of everyone in the room, make sure you grab a copy of this. There are guided prompts in here that will really help to make you aware and to help you process through that. So now, instead of feeling overwhelmed or feeling too sensitive, you are more strengthened emotionally and you're more empowered. So pick this up on Amazon. It's only $10. And a month from now, you will be functioning a lot better. And for my empathic friends, navigating boundaries, this is an amazing journal that's going to help you to not only figure out boundaries for yourself personally, but they're going to help you to see how you need them, how you need to structure them in your life, and how they'll be most advantageous to you. There are boundaries. I could teach class after class after class on boundaries, because the more I study, the more I enact them in my life, the deeper it goes, right? So again, you can get those two journals on Amazon. Both are only $10 each. But 30 days from now, from the day you started, you will see an incredible difference, and bring more awareness, deeper control, and more emotional stability. They have really been a blessing in my life. It was a fun journey writing those, because each day let me tell you, I did those prompts, I think 3 times before I even released the journal each day, because I was getting more and more and more from them. So more than anything, I want us to release what is really holding us back. Release these self-imposed limitations that we're probably putting on ourselves, right? There are so many gifts and talents within us. I want us all walking in that. Unlock it and to help us move forward in this crazy, crazy world that we're living in, but to not walk in fear or hesitation. To say, I am the right person for this moment, and I'm meeting this moment in love, not fear, because I am fully embracing who I am and the position I'm here to play in that big role, right? So thank you guys for being here. Thank you to everyone that's going to watch this on the replay. Make sure that if you haven't, you check out The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and sign up for the monthly newsletter, because on April 1st, I will send it out, and I have April's book club choice already lined up. And let me tell you, it is a good one. And Stories of the Soul is our book club that we have this year that's going to help us to take these universal themes, really dive deep, and to say, I see me, I love me, and I'm here to do great things. All right, everyone, I love you. May you be happy, may you be well, and may love always find its way to you. Bye, friends.